Assalamualaikum and hi to my respected lecturer Dr. Zarina Zakaria and all my brilliant classmates. My name is Muhammad Ashraf bin Mat Said from class NBS 8A. I'm here today to talk about our process in making and analysis one of the local company in Malaysia. We decided to choose Mr. Dewa as our choice in making the company review and their strategic plan. My friend and I will show to you the overview and the three stages of strategic formulation analytic framework that was used by Mr. Dewa in measure their company operate well. So before we go further, I will proudly share with you all the background of Mr. Dewa. Do you know that Mr. Dewa has won the Frost and Sullivan Best Practices Award for Retail Market Leadership 3 years in a row, which is in 2020, 2021, and 2022. In July 2015, Dewa is firstly operate at Jalan Tuanku Abdul Rahman. The company makes it easy and healthy for families to shop, and the prices for the necessities are much lower than at other stores in Malaysia. Mr. Dewa also has more than 735 stores, and each one is about 1,000 square feet and has about 80,000 different kinds of goods. Mr. Dewa also has branches at India, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Brunei, and Philippines. Among the other places in Asia, the company sells things in 10 different categories, such as hardware, household, electrical, furniture, car accessories, stationery, and sport. Also that Mr. Dewa has always low prices on average of 800 different kinds of product. All of the businesses are run by Mr. Dewa himself, and he also works with large retailers and a number of shopping mall owners in Malaysia. Some of them are Mini in Lotus, Giant, Aeon, and Aeon Beat, where they are the main tenant. The company wants to be the biggest store for home improvements in both Malaysia and Brunei. I believe that every organization had their own vision and mission, as well as Mr. Dewa. So I want to explain why Mr. Dewa chose to be the largest home improvement retailer in Malaysia and Brunei as their vision, and also Mr. Dewa underlined three matters as their mission, to create the global recognized retail, to offer diverse retail experience, and to maintain their good quality of product. We can see that mission and vision statement of Mr. Dewa are concise, but for them, it's very inspiring statement that clearly communicate the direction and values of Mr. Dewa. This statement also can powerfully explain their intention, and they can motivate their team or organization to realize the inspiring vision of the future. Okay, about the core values of Mr. Dewa, come from their talent, which is always low price. The demands of a clients are always given first intention by this corporation, according to the statement. In order to do this, it operates a creative business that is flexible when it comes to offering a large range of high quality and well-priced items to become the world's most prosperous home improvement retailer. As the pandemic hit our country, Mr. Dewa seems to state about the sustainability as their objective. It is for ensuring their business is protected from external sustainability problem. They must find a balance between making their product freely available to customers and following the environmentally friendly business practices if they are to achieve their aims. They will continue to build solid relationship with important stakeholders as we advance on their road towards more sustainable integration to support the group's long-term business. As we can look on their organizational structure, the Mr. Dewa Group were divided into 5 groups of businesses, which are retail, trading arms, e-commerce, property investment, and IT services. All the 5 groups of the businesses also were classified as a Sender Berhad. Under the retail group, which is their main business, they were divided into the regions for smoothing the management of Mr. Dewa in every state.
Hi, my name is Nafarizini binti Amran. So I will be covering the chapter 2, which is the input stage. On this input stage, we will cover the EFE, CPM, and also IFE. The objective of conducting this internal and external assessment is to identify threats, opportunity, weaknesses, and also strength. The external categories can be divided into political, economical, social, technology, environment, and also legal. While the internal assessment, the objective is to understand the company's internal positions. And as for the CPM, which is the competitive profile matrix, is a tool to help to analyze the information for organization strategy. The EFE, which is the external factors evaluation, the assessment has been conducted for Mr. DIY for their opportunities and also threats. And the total weightage score for EFE for Mr. DIY is 3.10. Besides, the CPM for Mr. DIY competitive profile matrix has been conducted for advertising, price competitiveness, customer loyalty, global expansion, product quality, store location, product variety, and also customer service. And we have compared these categories with their competitors, which is the IKEA and also ECO. And Mr. DIY scores the 3.20 for the CPM compared to their competitors. For the internal factors evaluation (IFE) for Mr. DIY, we have conducted the assessment for to identify the strength and also weaknesses, and Mr. DIY scored 3.40 for IFE. As a summary, referring to IFE, EFE, and also CPM done for Mr. DIY, we can say that weighted scores for IFE is 3.40, which indicate that Mr. DIY actually performing well compared to their competitors. However, there are still weaknesses and also threats that can be tackled by Mr. DIY in order to perform well in their business.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azal Arif Maslan. Okay, today I will continue the presentation for the third stage in terms of the matching stage. Okay, before we go to the deep in terms of the presentation, we need to know what is the SWOT matrix. A SWOT matrix is a powerful analytical tools that organization and the leaders use to guide their decision-making process. It can assist businesses in identifying their advantages and reducing the risk so they can be better planned for the future. The organization for which you work can uncover opportunities and safeguard its advantages by knowing who and how to use the SWOT matrix successfully. A SWOT matrix, also known as a SWOT analysis, it's strategy planning tools that both corporation and people can use to determine and evaluate the advantages, disadvantages, opportunities, and threats related to the certain project, business strategy, or any activity. This method is manager is assessing the potential impact of both internal and also the external factor on the viability or success of the new project. Okay, we go to the SWOT matrix that the company we choose in terms of the Mr. DIY. Okay, the strength for Mr. DIY is to provide a bulk order section for businesses, easy and strong site navigation, quick checkout process, multiple payment method, huge number of stock keeping unit, SKU product, establish a well-known brand and also low price product with a good quality. Then we go to the weaknesses. First, in terms of the poor advertising, less attractive and unappealing, lack of website optimization, lack of mobile support, lack of manpower resources, not using eco-friendly plastic bag, high turnover staff, and unorganized store layout. The third one, in terms of their opportunities. First, massive improvement on marketing and advertising. Provide better landing page, improve website layout, more collaboration with huge company going into e-commerce. And the fourth, the last one is the trend, the rise of e-commerce businesses, competitors with attractive website, cyber security, changes in regulation, product easy to imitate by the competitors. Okay, we go to the SWOT metric in terms of SO strategy. Okay, I will explain two strategies for each of the categories. First, in terms of the strength opportunity strategies. First, improve the e-commerce website for easier the customer to purchase via online. The second one, aggressively doing the marketing and advertising the brand and also the product. The second one, in terms of the weaknesses and also the opportunity strategies. First, increase the job posting to get more candidates to overcome the high turnover within the staff. The second one, create an app for the online shopping platform. Okay, the third strategy is within the strength and also the threat. First, strong logistic to assist compete with other market rivals. Second one, expand the business more rapidly in the international level. Lastly, for the weaknesses and threat strategies, improve advertisement campaign to communicate the company value, the target customer better than the competitors. And lastly, increase marketing effort and site development to dominate your industry.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. I'm Hazira Mira binti Abu Jamil. And now, I would like to continue with the decision stage. Okay, let's get started. In the decision stage, we are using the quantitative strategic planning matrix that is known as QSPM. Is one of the management tools that is used to evaluate the strategy option and determine the attractiveness of these strategies. The QSPM tools is to determine which strategy is the most feasible. The organization needs to assess their internal and external environment, conduct research, evaluate the pros and cons, perform analysis, and then decide to upon particular action. The QSPM is used in this strategy formulation process that consists of 3 stages. QSPM is very useful and allows the organization to identify and examine various of strategies based on the external and internal factor. Okay, now as we can see as the table shown, it shows that strategy number 3 has the highest score of total attractiveness score, and the least score goes to the strategy number 2. And now let's continue to into details to each of the strategies. First strategy is build partnership with e-commerce company. By enhancing the organization's competitive position, they need to grow their strategies that can minimize the risk and gain more profit. There are few goals that can determine which type of partnership are the best match to achieve the strategic goals, reducing risk, increase success in managing uncertainty, and driving growth. Besides, with partnership can increase flexibility and decrease costs, which can minimize the risk as well. By building a strategic partnership, Mr. DIY can minimize the cost in order to maximize their profit. As now we are in the technology advanced era, internet is widely used regardless of what type of activities, especially online shopping. Mr. DIY can build a partnership relationship with e-commerce companies such as CJ Workshop, Lazada, and not to forget Shopee. This can likely boost up their sales and increase the regular customer. The second strategy is use recycled friendly packaging. Recycled content packaging is any packaging product that has been manufactured using non-virgin materials that have been used before. By using recycled content packaging, it can be reduced carbon emission to the environment. Recycling materials helps limit the pollutants that release into the environment that can cause harm to the greenhouse. On the other hand, we can use recycling waste into products that we can use again. In this way, it can help to reduce the marine littering and land pollution. The third strategy is expand to Mr. DIY vending machine cafe. Mr. DIY is widely known as a do-it-yourself store with lowest price to offer. However, the organization did not yet have their own place to have a sip of coffee and a bite of pastries. In order to generate more profit and gain more customers, Mr. DIY can implement the convenient vending machine cafe concept. This can be the icing on the cake for the organization's business. Firstly, vending machines are low maintenance and no manpower needed. In this way, we could still serve the customer without physically be there. Multiple machines that can serve a variety of products from drink to snacks and able to feed a large of amount of people at one time. Besides, with vending machine cafe, Mr. DIY still can remain their concept do it yourself by having their coffee, drinks and snacks at their own effort. And the last strategy is to provide manpower to assemble furniture products. So many people always looking forward to Mr. DIY to anything stuff for their home. For example, women will come to the store to look for kitchen appliances, while men will look for gardening and repairing tools. As we know, Mr. DIY have their own various products and services with low prices of product in the market. The products are do-it-yourself concept. They have the opportunity to expand their product to Mr. DIY owns furniture brand. With the opportunities, they can also provide service door-to-door delivery and manpower to assemble a bigger size product for their customers. As we all know, a big company such as IKEA has started this strategy of providing delivery and manpower to assemble their furniture product. This strategy could help the disability and old people to assemble their furniture. By having promotion in online shop platforms such as CJ Workshop could attract all the types of customer and be able to offer them with delivery and manpower to assemble the furniture of product. Okay, let's continue with the best feasible alternative strategy. Okay, as the result, after calculate and evaluate the strategies in QSPM, the sum total attractiveness score reveal which strategy is the most attractive in each of the alternative. With the highest score indicates more attractive strategies by considering all the relevant external and internal factors that could affect the strategy's decision. The best feasible alternative strategy to implement in the organization is by expanding to Mr. DIY vending machines cafe in strategy 3. In the strength factor, with a score of 4, most attractive, and in opportunity factor also with score of 4, most attractive. With the highest sum total attractive score of 4.05 and the lowest score of 2.65 from strategy 2, use recycle friendly packaging. With this vending machine cafe can maintain the do-it-yourself concept by Mr. DIY. Besides, with this strategy, it can increase the profit by having a low cost of maintenance and no manpower physical needed. With multiple of vending machine can serve a large of amount customer at one time.
Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Hishamuddin bin Osmin. So in conclusion, since Mr. DIY first store opened on Jalan Tunku Abdul Rahman in July 2005, they have actually grown significantly. Aside from that, Mr. DIY also has expanded its stores in Brunei and provided an online shopping platform for customers who are unable to visit their physical stores. So all of Mr. DIY stores are actually operated as a tiny anchor tenants in Lotus, Giant, Aeon and Aeon Big. And they are all managed directly with input from major merchants and mall owners. So as explained by my colleagues, by referring to the IFE, CPM and EFE tests that Mr. DIY had done, we can see that the IFE has a weighted score of 3.40, which this suggests that it is doing well compared to its rival. However, threats and vulnerabilities still can be overcome by Mr. DIY in order to succeed in their business. For instance, the performance of Mr. DIY has been influenced by the dangers and weaknesses outlined in the IFE and EFE, such as the China shutdown brought on by the zero COVID-19 cases policy. The business need to approach the scenario with a good plan and a strategy for how to overcome this situation. Next, we also have to come to the conclusion that Mr. DIY's position can they actually can brand and obtain a competitive edge by doing a complete SWOT analysis. So the first step in optimizing Mr. DIY is to increase its chances of success in the market, is to determine its strengths and possibilities. So this examination also makes sure that they are not ignorant to weaknesses, and so they could undermine the efforts of dangers that could obstruct the advancement. By doing this, they also will be able to make wiser plans and decisions by using SWOT analysis. After performing a few quick calculations in QPSM, by selecting a competing organization is an excellent alternative. So this can reveal the overall attractiveness score as a whole. The suggested approach that is the most desirable and practicable to implement in the organization will be identified by the QPSM overall attractiveness score. Higher scores indicates a more appealing strategy are obtained by taking into account that all pertinent external and internal important elements that may have an impact on strategic decisions. The most useful analytical method to assess the relative attractiveness of several strategies is where the ideal option for the company to implement is typically the one with the highest score. Finally, according to the overall findings from the QPSM, we can see that strategy number 3 is the most practical strategy to apply after taking into account all the relevant internal and external elements. The decision-making process incorporates pertinent internal and external considerations. So, the QPSM method has been shown to be an effective strategic planning tool for corporations through our studies on Mr. DIY's business. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum.